Hello, everybody! Welcome back to another replay analysis by yourself. Another episode of Analyzing Defeat. That's right, we have the monitor back today because we are going to be analyzing a nice loss here. Now, this is back in the live lead. We're in Fog, as usual. As you know, the best game mode, the only game mode that's worth talking about, the Fog of War. So this map here is Killer of Killers, a map that I got placed on very recently. Against my opponent, Xbuster51. Never played this pair before. They are in the high 800s in terms of ELO, which isn't too bad. Not the highest end of opponent I've fought, but not the lowest end either, so pretty reasonable opponent. Few things to know about this map. For one thing, this is a 3-base map with a pretty semi-forward airport. I rather like that always in maps that have airports to be more forward. Because with forward airports, it just allows air units to be a lot more of a factor, especially they didn't have that quick reinforce and everything. So that's always nice to have. Another thing I really liked about this map as well is actually this base here. Just first thing up with this base is that it looks kind of weak because of the really bad tank timing, but it allows you to have infantry basically flood this way very, very easily while this is your main vehicle base. So I really like that dynamic, how I think the bases are very well positioned in that way. But there's two things I don't want to do with this map. One, can we please stop doing rivers like this? This triggers my OCD so badly. This is a skill issue on my part, I know. But these rivers, with the little pencil drawing through them, they trigger my OCD. So please stop making rivers like this. It made me very happy, thank you. It triggers my OCD brain. Another thing I don't like, the missile. Why don't I like the missile? It's a very strong spy. It watches not only your one base, but this base as well. It's very strong. You put it on this plains here, you have access to both bases, which is very, very powerful. Sure, you can't watch the airport from this tile, but it allows you to have so much early game knowledge of like you're going to see any sort of recons or any APCs or any tanks. You're going to know exactly where those vehicles are because this base takes a minute to get online. So I think the scout on this map is a little too strong, in my opinion. I think it should be more of a choice. But maybe you can watch either this base or this base. But as it stands, I don't really care for the scout. I think it's a little too good at what it does. You do have to send infantry back there eventually to capture buildings and get things anyway. Another thing with this map is that there's no HQ, instead there's a singular lab. So that's pretty interesting. I never really understood the thought process behind that. I'm not sure what determines that. Maybe it's just an income thing. So where do we want to fight in this map? Well, the place we want to fight is actually just right here. It's like these two cities, the two in the middle, these two cities, and like late game you can kind of push through the tower. These properties pretty much belong over here. There's just going to be so many infantry going that way, it's really hard to really contest them. So you're really going to be fighting right here, and then like late game you kind of push for the top tower. So pretty interesting map. Now, this is a interesting CO matchup. I picked Jake. Now, if you don't know Jake, Jake is my favorite tier 4 CO. He's just a good all-rounder. The extra 10% damage on planes is pretty nice no matter what units you use. And his powers are just really catered to my sort of playstyle. I like to build a lot of vehicles, obviously. Vehicles are very good. I've been incorporating artillery a bit more in my playstyle, so Jake is my man. However, fighting Sami. Now, Sami is an interesting matchup. I get why. You see this nice mountain range here, and you know you can send infantry up here, so infantry here to be a lot of infantry skirmishes. T-Topters aren't too bad on this map either. You can get with T-Topters here. A T-Topter from this base is very nice. This base is really bad at producing infantry. It takes him like forever to get anywhere. But over here they're pretty nice too. So transport's pretty good. Mechs are pretty solid too. So I understood the Sami pick. However, I do think I have the better CO here. I think Jade is just a little bit better on this map. There's plenty of planes where you're going to be fighting. The only place there really isn't any is like these Sioux Center cities. That's a bit unfortunate, but I suppose I should stop the preamble. We've been rambling for a little bit too long now. Let's go ahead and get right into things, shall we? Let me go ahead and change the song here. So, we are not going to be viewing my opponent's vision. So I think for this particular game, it will be better if you see things from my perspective. First of all, immediately first thing I did, move the missile here. I want that vision in the bases. I want to know if there's any early recons. I want to know if there's any early tanks. So I'm already assuming that their missile is likely here. Just some infantry so far. We're probably not going to see anything at this point. Interestingly, I have to go over here to capture this first. Now, the reason for this is because I know that these are very contestable. So getting one early could be pretty nice. Even if I can't hold it long term, it'd be nice to have. And it's equally the same distance to this property as the airport, and I'm in no hurry to get the airport. You see the infantry kind of dart this way. This is such a strong scout. You get so much information. Just some infantry. Another reason I really don't like the spy, I'm disincentivized from doing what I usually do against Sami, which is open recon, and then another recon to fight her infantry. So, I remember even in this match, at the start of it, I was like, man, I should have re-rolled this map. I'm like, oh, I can't build nothing. I'm not, like, I can't have any surprise factor. So that was kind of big sucky. But we see no vehicles from Sami either. And considering that we are just now going to capture our base, we know there's likely no vehicle over there. So we know Sami has no vehicles. Build 2 recons. I decided at this point, fluff it. And I see... forgot to mention it. I see no missile here. This maybe stretched my head a little bit. So that tells me either Missile-chan is like here or here. I don't know which is which yet. Obviously, you can kind of see in the app in the bottom left that it is in this forest, but I didn't know at the time. So I want to get rid of that little spy, and I build 2 freaky Rikis on day 5, because I build a tank immediately following it. Like my freaky little Rikis. Now, unfortunately, they will be able to see at least one of these recons, but because it's not on the plains tile, they can't see both. I think that's a bit of a blunder for my opponent. I think it should be on the plains tile. You just get too much intel. And they build, we see immediately a tank and a recon. So recon's going to go this way, tank's going to go up here. So, pretty interesting. Now, I'm actually going to make a little blunder myself here. You'll see why in a minute. I go ahead and build a weak side tank. Because we saw the recon go this way. And I can build another tank over here in a minute. I actually moved my my missiles away. I shouldn't have moved it here. I should have moved it into this forest to get another turn of vision. This was a mistake on my part. Huge blunder, but I'm about to blunder this missile even more. But at least we see the tank go up here, which, where else is it going to go, right? I guess it could go this way, but let's be real. And I get trapped on the missile. I went, okay, so that's where the missile is. I send a second infantry back to go. I want this missile dead. I want to capture these properties. Recon goes in, sees nothing. All these beautiful white properties. I don't know what I know that's in there. Look at this silly blunder. That's a dead missile. I should have moved it down, or even to the right would be fine. Anything but this. Moving it down would be good to need a vision of this base. But we blunder. We throw away our poor missile. And it's a sad state of affairs. I make another blunder this turn. I build the tank from this base. I need infantry over here. The tank should have been built from here. This was a mistake. I should not have done this. So, series of early game mistakes from me. We see the missile run away. And we are about to go dark, ladies and gentlemen. We go dark. Missile cut down in the prime of her life. Feels bad, man. We see nothing. We no longer have any intel on what's happening. I go down to the middle city. And I see a little infantry already ready to capture it. Not today, buddy boy. And I put my recon right here as well. This gives me some nice intel. We see the recon from before. I'm like, okay, it's pretty nice. And I shift my tank to this tile. This tank's actually pretty good position because it actually covers everything it could possibly do. Covers this recon, covers this recon. So I know there's a tank over here somewhere. So it's nice, good coverage. Take my first shot at the Missile-chan. Yeah, see, I would need more infantry over here to start capturing this. So I'm actually kind of behind on the north. Bit of a mistake for me. I learned my lesson here. I'm like, okay, we're going to tanks from here. Because again, this base produces infantry very slowly. So we just kind of see him fiddling around over here, and we see a mech. A big mechy boy. At this turn, I knew immediately what was going to be the type of game that my opponent was going to play. And I'm like, okay, they are going to use this base to produce a fuckload of mechs, and then have vehicles over here, and then slowly deathball me and push over here. So, I already read it like a book here. Another blunder they do, over here, is this little tank. You see it for a split second. See the tank over here. This is just a blunder. You shouldn't reveal where your tank is. You see my recon. You know I got vision there. Just, you could have gone around, bud. We could have gone around, bud. So we see him over here. This tells me he's probably weak over here. This is where the majority of his stuff's going to be. So already, I'm feeling what I've got a good bit of intel on what's happening. In range capture my comm tower and that other property. Now, I actually opt to capture rather than hunt down the missile chom because I want that money. And I move my recon over here. The reason I move the recon over here is because I want to stop Sami if they have an infantry here. They don't, but they could have. And I put my tank on the city. I don't capture. So we go ahead and move into the forest. Honestly, we should have just cowabungaed. I think it's because I saw the tank go over here that I was like a little more, maybe I should be a little... But this is a wimpy move. This is just a little wimpy, little tanky. But yeah, using this to deny. This tank is kind of covering it. I'm covering this town, but if the tank attacks me from here, we're cooked. So, if the tank's probably in this woods. So if it attacks me from here, it's completely safe and I can't punish that. So that's a blunder. I should have just moved here. Then I could have covered everything. But, mistakes happen. I build more recons. Recons are very good against Sami. I typically against Sami build like twice as many recons as I do against the OCO. So recons are just so damn good. And look at this wall forming. We just see the mech coming in. Another mech. So 2 mechy boys. This isn't... We aren't fighting here. This is the turn I realized that my days here were numbered. They actually had a shot at my recon, but fortunately they take it from the wrong tile, so my mistake was not punished. If they attacked from here, I'd have no punish. They actually entered my cap as well, which I was disappointed about. But, that's okay. Because their passiveness let me get a middle property. So I actually go down here and I take a shot. Now I take this shot for a few reasons. The main reason is they are building a fuckload of mechs, so I am giving the read that there is no tank in this vicinity. Capture my comm tower. And take a shot from the road. Now this is risky. If there's another tank hiding in the fog back here, they should come and clean my tank. They're going to get their comm tower in its turn, and I won't have mine. So I should take a shot with my infantry and recon, just whittle that down a little bit. And I kind of retreat here. Because I have no interest in fighting this mech ball over here. I would rather fight here. This is me saying I'm fighting over here. I go Nanterre. Honestly, probably a little late. I think we should have probably had the Nanterre the last turn. Especially with how forward this airport is. I think this was a mistake on my part. So Missile Chandra's here, gets one last bit of vision, sees my copter. Doesn't feel great. We just see them capture. And we know those mechs are back here. We know that ball. We see them dart. So we know this is likely where their entire army is. We have good vision to the point where we can pretty much assume this is where all their crap is. Now, do I get punished for my attack? No. They retreat. No second tank. Now I'm even more confident in my earlier assessment that all their crap's over here. It's in this darkness over here. And they don't have jack all over here. So I am feeling really good at this point. I get a little cocky here. Capture my comm tower, first of all. Always capture your comm before battle. Finish off Missile Chom. Finally in the dark. Capture that. Capture that property. Finish capturing my bad properties. Tank attack, clean. cleaned. I actually interrupt my tap here to scout that and kill this guy. And we see now another tank. This tank was built the previous turn. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is built last turn. Likely there's a tank behind it. Now, I am not going to attack that tank. We are way too close to the airport. There to be a battlecopter here for all I know. My anti-air is not going to be in position for at least 2 more turns. Meanwhile, over here, we're just kind of biding our time. We have no interest in fighting this. This is death. That is death incarnate. Now, the thing about mechs, though, is that they're quite slow. I do a cute thing here. I plug the forest with my tank, so this tank can't go in the city and strike mine. Honestly, I probably should have put this tank here. Cover up this tile, so this way there's no 3-star terrain to fight from. Going here doesn't really do a lot, so I don't know about that. That's a bit sussy. And this is the last move I made in the turn, was deciding to shoot this infantry. Now, I shot this infantry for 2 reasons. 1, to see if there's a tank. And 2, to get intel on what's happening back here. We see no infantry, so they're going to be behind in capturing these properties now. So we're doing some decent eco damage here, but we also learn there's a tank here. Which shows me that there's not any anti-air here, very likely. So I'm feeling pretty confident. Because if they saw a copter, they would have built an anti-air that turn. It's been 1 turn, so a copter... So they see the copter, build an anti-air. Anti-air's like here, be here. Recon dies, but that's okay. We have to learn where a tank was. We have to learn that there's likely no anti-air built yet. So if the anti-air was built here, it would be here when we said it was a tank. And we see another mech come in, infantry, and oh boy. We are just going to be seeing the mechs. They actually got a shot at me here. This is not what you really want to do. You cannot be... Your units are all here. You don't want to be throwing away your infantry here, especially at Sami. And he even throws his tank at my 4 HP recon. I don't like this. We're just kind of... We're balling up units in the bottom while also just doing... Yeah, get him! Get him in the top. What is this? Another mech. There's probably 4 or 5 mechs there. Planes boosted. Bonk. 9-3. Wipe out that guy. Attack back. Infantry comes into reinforce. Capture. Capture that. I even attacked this infantry as well. I'm just weakening all of his crap. And because I saw that tank last turn, I'm feeling confident that this is a free hit. So I go in for a free attack on an infantry. We'll get to drain a little income and weaken them a little bit. Recon goes here. And we are just waiting for impact. And we're shifting our other tank over as well. All of our vehicles are going over here. Because I don't want anything to do with these mechs. I don't want nothing to do with them. Wiping my hands of them. No, sir. Not interested. I want all my stuff over to the right. I want to win over here before he wins over here. We're in full race mode. Powers are still a little bit away. But keep those powers in mind. They're going to come up. And he goes full retreat. He can't win over here. He realizes it. Full retreat there. I don't know what this infantry is. This infantry is trying to set out to die like a dog. Die like a dog. And we just see them perforating units in the bottom left. We see the anti-air too, which is really interesting. We're also going to see the most. We're going to see a T-copter. Now the T-copter, interestingly, came from down here. So that T-copter was built probably several turns ago. Drop off yet another mech. So, what do we do? First of all, we're killing this guy. I don't know what this guy was doing. Clean up these infantry. Mop them and schlop them. And we're ready with the anti-air now to protect from any copter hits. And I actually choose, despite knowing there's an anti-air, to kill this T-copter. Why did I choose to kill the T-copter? So I know what Sami's game plan is here. She's going to keep building these mechs and using this transport to make them get there very fast. So even though a T-copter is worth less than my battlecopter, it's a 4,000 difference, but this is going to force Sami to build another 5,000 value T-copter if she wants to keep doing her game. So honestly, I felt like it was a pretty good trade. Plus, it's going to be a good bit of power charge, which I'm happy about. Maintaining pretty solid vision of the battlefield, if I don't say so myself. I actually did a cute little join here to get myself another healthy infantry in the area. This base is so bad for vehicles. It's so icky. And I build a golf ball. Why do I build a golf ball? Think about the units we've seen in that corner. We've seen infantry, mechs, and anti-air and recon. None of those units fight a Neotank. Maybe Sami mechs, if you swarm the Neotank during her power, can like kill it. But other than that, she's not going to be able to fight that. I haven't seen a single artillery or anything. So a Neotank feels like a pretty good answer. At least that's what I thought at the time. But things are about to heat up here. We just see this tank run! Yep, the helicopter expected. I think that was still a pretty good trade. I try to defend that decision. We aren't going to see a whole lot here. They go in. Here come the infantry starting to pick me off. The big game plan at Sami is to kill her infantry as much as you can. Boomba. Boomba. Attack there. Just using some infantry. Notably, I'm keeping my vehicles on top of my properties. Because we're getting close to the victory march. The victory march could swing the game. Attack there. Battlecopter. See another stinky little mech. And I actually go and capture her comm tower. We'll deal there. Do yourself a little recon. Boink! Medium tank. We can't fight the medium tank. We're way overextended, by the way. We are way overextended into her territory. And now there's a medium tank. What do you do to the medium tank? I'll tell you what you do. You fucking ignore it. Surround our stuff. Capture her comm tower. Capture her property. With the units you see on the board, can Sami interrupt either of these? The answer is no. You know why? She's Sami. And her direct vehicles suck dookie. And winning this comm tower will be instrumental going forward. So now, we're knocking on her door because she sacked a bunch of infantry earlier. And we're holding the line down here. Hold the line over here. Punch right here. Oh, Sami vehicles. Copter on copter violence. Attack there. Even attached with the mech doing a damage. And we see a second medium tank. Two of them things. Well, what do you do? We can't fight that. We couldn't fight one medium tank, let alone two. And they actually come in sneaky Sami sneaks in and gets one of my precious middle properties. I was very devastated. They come clean up some infantry. Just some infantry brawls right now. They have so many infantry. Just this wall of fucking schlop over here, dude. So much schlop. But we get to comm tower. And we get their property. So we popped Block Rock. Now, this Block Rock is pretty bad. Spoilers, this Block Rock is kind of poopy butthole. Kill that, first of all. That's a one-shot. But we see the anti-air. Bonk. That's one shot. Here comes the battlecopter. Recon comes in. One shot. One shot. Neo-Tank, instead of fighting, parks on the comm tower. 22,000 funds, ladies and gentlemen, on the comm tower. Die! I'm even so stupid. I throw my tank on a road when Victory March is coming. That's going to get blasted. I do kill the copter, obviously. Die! Die, Mickey. I don't even know what I'm doing with this copter. This is silly. This is just... Why? So much silliness. Retreat! And then we run away. We get the cluck out of there, so we ain't fighting too many tanks. And finally, for our last move... on the left. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. GG. Any other move with this tank is throwing the game. This tank's job is to sit there and ready for the Victory March. The Victory March that is sure to come. Oh. It's Tommy's time to shine. Had my turn. Used my power. What will Sami do? They have a lot of infantry in place. This is falling. This is falling. This is falling. This is falling. At least 4, maybe even this. One, two. Kills the copter. Throwing away one of the... Okay, well, maybe they're gonna... Well, no, you'd like this guy to capture that and capture this and then capture that. So this... And then... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, this move here decided the game. You may not believe me. This recon move decided the game. I want you to ask yourself something here. Do you pop Victory March here, if you're Sami? Just take a moment, pause the video, look at the board. Do you pop Victory March here? You could have taken like 4 properties, maybe even 5 properties, had we not killed that copter. But even with that, you could still take at least 1, 2, 3, 4 properties. Do you pop it? This recon went in and saw the tank. Sami can't win the game. They do not have nearly the forces to remove a tank from the lab, especially with my power up giving me an extra 10% defense. They can't win. And this is why I decided to make this match a video. Everything before now was preamble. Just an ordinary Live League match. This recon move, seeing the lab is not capturable, changed the course of the entire game for my opponent. I firmly believe my opponent had every interest of using their Victory March to win this turn. But then when they moved their recon and saw that that was no longer an option, the Victory March I feared, that I was bracing for impact for. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no Victory March. Now, I want you to keep turn 15 in mind here. Sami could have taken 5 cities at least. 4 or 5 cities. But so I seize the opportunity. I want this stuff to die. But I still know there's a victory march coming, so I can't be too reckless. Clean up these infantry. Run. Retreat to the middle. And look now. Tank. Tank. Infantry. Battlecopter. I used that one turn of hesitation. That decision. To hold back. And now. How many cities do you think Sami could get now? 1, 2, maybe 3 on a good day. This one for sure. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sami's board state. If they victory march now, I did the work. I did the work. They could take 1 city for me. 1 city. And now it's endgame. Medium tanks roll in. We still are not popping that victory march. Another T-copter. Just hurtling. Bunkering down. Bracing for impact. I smelled blood in the water. Retreat over on the right. My mass that's now in the middle is going to crash down upon them. Sensing the weakness, sensing the blood in the water, we smash in. Vehicles, tanks, infantry, just curb stomping. Weakening the Sami mech ball that I've been hiding from the entire game. What did Sami do? Bomber comes in. They actually get the Neo kill here. But they still will not pop their power. And now, it's been so long that I am ready to rock the block yet again. So now, ladies and gentlemen, sack the tank. Superpower. It's time to end this. One shot. Killed. Anti-air from downtown, not even needing planes boost. One shots bomber. Crash in, smash over and over and over. And it's over. It is over. Just like that. Now, why did I decide to make a video about this particular game? Day 15. I went ahead and made this. After this game, I couldn't stop thinking about the missed opportunity. Sami could have, instead of hitting the anti-air, actually taken this city too. They could have knocked this to 26k to 20k with this victory march. And suddenly they're winning over here. Winning over here. They don't have any anti-air over here. That's like the one downside. But this is bad. Suddenly, they have a commanding position across the board, and I'm really low on infantry. Day 15, we see this recon move, and my opponent sees that they can't win the game, and as a result, opts to not pop their power. And as a result, they just turtle until there's nothing left. This is a case of waiting for a perfect opportunity that doesn't present itself, and waiting so long to the point where things just compound against you. They could have caught me so unawares, but because they gave me time, they allowed me to capitalize and even get a second superpower. Truly a fascinating game. So what would I have done different? I would have popped the super. Day 15, I would have popped that super. I would have gotten the economy. Even if you have to fall back afterwards, you still would have been in the game. But they just saw it. They saw that tank on the damn lab and decided against it. And they had time on the clock too. They had 12 minutes. They were not pressed for time. Day 15, they had 15 minutes. They could have planned this turn out. They should have stepped back, took 5 minutes to look and move planner. But they saw that they couldn't get the lab. And didn't try. This reminds me a lot of my cowardice video. If you've seen, it's the most popular Advanced Wars video on my channel. And in that video, I explained that I was so worried that I didn't take any action. And this rings true of this. Sami didn't see a path to victory, and so took no action. And then as a result, never did. They never took an action. Their victory march sat there the entire rest of the game, which was only 3 turns. And I think this is something you really need to look for in games, is to just keep an open mind. Just because your plan A didn't work out doesn't mean you can't pivot to something else. Again, you could take 5 properties here most that I found. This one's a little too tanky. I couldn't find a way to wall break to this infantry and clear. Maybe there's a way and I just didn't see it. But well, also getting this property, to be frank. But maybe I just didn't see it. But yeah. A rather sad end to this one, I feel. I think my opponent played pretty well. I don't really have a whole lot of criticisms. Maybe a little too much mech spam. Once I realized what they were doing, I'm like, okay, I know how to fight this. But very fun game. Xbuster 51, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this game. I think you really could have put me in the dirt if you just used that power day 15. Hopefully, you look at situations like that in the future, of where you could maybe not get the best option. You can't win the game on the spot, but hey, flipping 5 properties is pretty damn good. I'd say that's a pretty solid victory march, especially since I can't really take them back in a while. It's such you can't take the comm tower back, but I really can't hold this one very long. But that is where I'm going to call this episode today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. You all have a lovely day. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.